This is the spoiler-filled review for Transformers 5. If you want the spoiler-free review, the link is in the description below. Alright, so we're gonna hate me for saying this, but I actually really liked this movie. Actually, I think it's the best in the franchise. And there go all my subscribers. Well, this guy is an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. First he says he likes King Arthur, then he says he likes The Mummy, then he says he likes Cars 3, now he says he likes Transformers 5. This guy obviously doesn't know what good movies are. I am unsubscribing. This guy's an idiot. You know, there's gotta be that one person, whatever case, I already knew. But I did enjoy it. The one thing I would complain about, well, a couple things to complain about. First, there was so much language. It was kind of depressing. Like, it was awful with how much language there was. They say the S word like every other sentence. It's like 90% of the script. And yeah, I get it, it's PG-13, but the language was just excessive. Like, it was, they actually dropped a couple of, like, one of them is censored, but there was like an F-bomb in there too. And the times they didn't actually say the word, they also said effing, which is so close to it that it's like, yeah, it was unnecessary, and I did not appreciate that. That was not cool. Like, it's borderline R with the language. It's, especially because they're marketing this movie to 8-year-olds, you know, with all the toys. Go into, like, Walmart or Target or anything, or Toys R Us, and you'll see there's tons of merchandise for this movie, and your 8-year-old's going to want to see it, and then their ears are going to be bombarded with tons and tons of language. And yeah, there's always going to be that smart aleck in the comments that goes, oh, well, they're going to hear it eventually. Yeah, but can we try to keep their minds as innocent as possible for as long as possible? We don't need language in Transformers, of all things. Come on. I will say, it's kind of a rock and a hard place here. The first 3 Transformers movies set out to pretty much just objectify women, and then these new ones don't do that, but there's language, and there's a lot of it, so we traded one bad thing for another bad thing. Can we just get rid of the language completely as well? Next time we do this, guys. It's Transformers, for crying out loud. Seriously. Okay, so yeah, the language, especially because also some of the language came from the child character, the one who was like 10. Yeah, we're not gonna have a child swear. That's not okay. That is just awful. Why would you? I don't know, one of these writers had problems. The writing was not creative, which is why they needed to throw in so many, like, swear words. Alright, well, as far as the actual movie goes, yeah, I mean, other language, it was pretty good. The plot made, like, almost no sense, though. It was just kind of random. It was like, they've been around since, which also decanonizes the first one, too. It's like, the first one, as far as I remember, because it's been years since I watched it, but as far as I remember, it was like they came to Earth, and then the first thing they saw was a car, or cars, so that's why they became cars. But in this one, it's like they've been around since King Arthur times, or they've been around since, you know, World War II. That makes no sense, then. So I'm guessing that this is basically a reboot, and they just decanonized the other ones. So I'm guessing 4 is now 1, and then 5 is now 2, and then whatever the next one is 3. Also, I love it now. Bumblebee can talk now. It's not just like, you know, radio station stuff. He can actually, he has a voice now. Like I said, spoilers. So he has a voice now. It's good, because I was wondering how they were going to do a Bumblebee spinoff when he can only talk through, you know, radio broadcasts. Like, that's not going to work when he's up in space and can't get the signal, right? How is that going to work? Okay, so now that he actually has a voice, you do it. Also, okay, I do need to compare this a little bit, so my second complaint real quick, before I get into comparisons. The second complaint, the aspect ratio changes were so annoying and distracting. It was like every other shot was an aspect ratio change. Here's widescreen, and now here's full screen. Now we're going to zoom in on someone's face, and now we're going to make it super big, and now we're going to zoom in on someone's face again. Like, that was annoying. It was like every other shot was like black bar widescreen, then full screen, then black bar widescreen, then full screen. It was very distracting, especially because I needed caption devices, where it's like you put in a couple, you put it above the screen, it shows the captions, because I'm very hard of hearing. So I kept having to adjust that every few minutes just because the aspect ratio kept changing and I couldn't see what was going on. That was super annoying. I'm not sure why they did that. Hopefully enough people complain about it, they go back and they fix it before it gets put out on Blu-ray, because that's really annoying. Like, I get why some films do it, like with Tron Legacy, the aspect ratio changes to differentiate between the real world and the grid. That makes sense, but Transformers just does it for the sake of doing it. I don't know why. The aspect ratio changes were unnecessary and extremely distracting. Okay, so, I need to Chris. This movie I can compare it a lot to Force Awakens. Hear me out. Okay, so, because you have the little girl who lives in the desert, who has a little robot companion that she made, and she knows how to fix things, and then she sees the other guy who she admires because he's defending the Transformers. So she's Rey, he's Han Solo. Yeah, like, and also, this is called The Last Knight. Episode 8 is called The Last Jedi. Obviously, Optimus Prime is evil in this one, and then Episode 8, Luke goes, it's time for the Jedi to end, so he may or may not be evil in that one, too. So they're kind of copying it a little bit here. And it's funny, because obviously, with the robot butler in this movie in Transformers, one of the other robots said something about him being a C-3PO ripoff, and I'm like, ha, I see that now. But acknowledging that it's a ripoff doesn't make it any more acceptable there, Michael Bay. Acknowledging it doesn't make it any more acceptable. It just proves that you knew what you were doing, that you intentionally ripped it off. Okay, so the other thing was, what was her name? Was it Vivian? The British lady? Okay, so yeah, her being related to Merlin. Oh, yeah, the other thing. So obviously at the beginning of the movie, Vivian is like, here's Arthurian legend and Merlin. It's like, it's all garbage. It's not the word she used, but I'm not going to swear on my channel because I want to keep it family friendly. And it's like, these stories are all garbage. They're not true. And then she finds out, oh, well, I was related to Merlin. So it's true. All of it. I wonder where they got that idea from. So yeah, it's very, very similar to Force Awakens in that sense. Yeah. But yeah, so as far as like the action sequences went, I was blown away. Pun not intended, because there's tons of explosions. So yeah, it was so good. The action sequences were just so awesome. I was a little disappointed that the Dinobots weren't in this one, because the Dinobots, in my opinion, were the best part of the or one of the best parts of the fourth one. But the dragon one was cool. The three-headed dragon was cool. Yeah, the action sequences were great. I was a little disappointed that there was no Imagine Dragons soundtrack this time. That's what I was waiting for. I was like, ooh, Imagine Dragons is new a song for this one. Because I thought it was going to be like where the first three were Linkin Park, and then these next three are going to be Imagine Dragons, but it wasn't. There was no Imagine Dragons, it was just regular music. Oh. Okay, also, and the thing about Unicron is essentially the Death Star. Because think about it, it was trying to blow up the Earth. It did so in a similar way to the Death Star, so that's another thing that it borrowed from Star Wars. Right, so it's a little bit comparing to that, but it was good, though. Like I said earlier, other than the totally unnecessary, excessive language, it was pretty good. Like, I really enjoyed it. It was fantastic. It's the best one yet. So, you can troll all you want. You can call me a moron for liking this movie. I don't care. Comments are approved before they're posted, because I don't want people, swearing or anything, so I have to pre-approve the comments. So if there's anything that, like, trolls or anything, I'm just not going to post it. So you can troll all you want. You'll just never see it. I'll see it, but I won't care. I am rubber, you are glue. Okay, so, yeah, it's good. It was a fantastic movie. I would say if you're a fan of just Transformers, go see it. I mean, it's the 5th movie, so at this point you know what you're getting. You're getting explosions, you're getting robots, you're getting all this stuff all over things. It's pretty much the same, but yeah, I'd say go see it. If you're a fan of Transformers, or, yeah, you know what you're getting. Go see it, it's fun.